Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good morning to all of you. So today we again in Islamic marketing course. Right now we go to the third part, the third chapter, talking about consumer and business market. Okay, so we already know about um, business environment. We already know about Islamic marketing definition. Right now, we talk about the group, which is we call it as the main line. It's a bloodline for business to success, which is consumer. Yeah. All right. Before we start, let me tell you about the importance studying consumer and business market. First, uh, the, the main part when we talk about revenues, okay, the revenues gained from who? From consumer. Okay, this is party which is will anticipate themselves in evaluating, processing, and also make decision to buy anything available in the market. So let's go. Don't waste our time because this topic is very interesting topic, and inshallah after this we go to another interesting topic for marketer. Okay, which is segmentation, targeting, and positioning. All right. Okay, we just want to recap a little bit regarding on the basic concept of marketing. Okay, basic concept of marketing, which is needs, want, and demands. Okay, what is needs, what is wants, and what is demand. Needs is something that you need to have basically to make sure you survive. Okay, normally involve something related to food, drink, clothing, to make you feel safe. I mean here shelter. Okay, mingle around, uh, social involvement, and also getting what do you want to achieve. Needs basically talking about every basic thing that bring you to life. Okay, if your needs influenced by your culture, influenced by your society, it's become wants. Okay, the way how you express yourself, the way how you want to become will determine you are in the state of wants, not, and we don't think about needs anymore. We move to wants. Why? Because you have already found uh, comfort and not facing any difficulties. Okay, so which is it's shaped by culture and individual personality, and also shaped by one society, and are described in terms of object that will satisfy needs. Example, American needs food, but hamburger and Bangladeshi also needs food, but rice. Okay. Some of, for example, as a student, okay, when you go to looking for food, anything that shape according to your needs. I mean, as yourself, I want to eat chicken rice. So you try to find chicken rice, okay, in your area. Okay. But for those who are starving, they don't care about which food they want to eat, as long as that food can satisfy them and filling their empty stomach. Okay, so if that kind of situation happen, we consider as wants. Okay. How about demands? Okay, demands beyond the needs, beyond wants, because demands come from the ability you to pay, the ability you purchase because you have more, we call it as a more opportunity to pay better. Okay, it's backed by buying power. Once become demand, if you have, we call it as a surplus. Okay, we call it as a surplus. Okay. For example, you have 5 ringgit. Okay, you have 5 ringgit in your hand. Normally, with 5 ringgit, you can buy a plate of chicken rice. But today, somebody pay their debt to you. Maybe before this, he borrow your money. You got 20 ringgit. Yes, for today, you want to eat chicken rice. However, your chicken rice preference might change from normal chicken rice to the chicken rice offer in somewhere that have better environment, better, we call it as a surrounding. So you will find chicken rice at the outlet in the hypermarket, which is more comfortable, more, we call it convenience, rather than you sit and at the chicken rice restaurant, which much hotter than usual, and just sit on the bench, which are not comfort as a somewhere in hypermarket. So demands, okay, for easy to understand, easy to know how to differentiate between needs, want, and demand. Okay, we try to take one example. Needs, anything that let difficulties go from you, but once according to what you have inside you, your personality, your culture, and maybe your society wants you to consume, or if you have more money, it will become demand. Okay, why I'm expressing all these things before we start? Because there are two types of market that business must entertain. Okay, and these two types of market, basically, marketer need to know what their needs, what their wants, and their demands. Okay. All right. Before we go further, let me share with you how we behave when come to the buying decision making process. When you have in mind something you want to buy, for example, a set of handphone, for example. Okay, right now we talk, few days ago, we heard about people excitement upon the iPhone 12 launching. Am I right? Yes. Okay, how do they make decision to buy that iPhone 12? First of all, in stimulus response model, said to you, there are two stimuli that drive people to buy a product. First, marketing stimuli. So marketing stimuli, which is come from the business itself, what they offer, how much they charge, And how does product promoted and get informed to their prospective customer, and how those products available in the market. Other stimuli, which is something that beyond capability of oneself, for example, economy, political, social, technological, and many others. Other stimuli might affect your decision in buying a product. However, before we make any decision, usually we depend on several factors. What are the factors? We will talk later in the next slides. So, buyer characteristic form according to their preferences. And the process will be started when you have the problem initiated. So, there are two things that will involve in deciding product choice, the brand choice, dealer choice, purchase timing, purchase amount, and frequency of purchasing. So, how do we know the characteristic and how this process will run? Okay, let's go to one by one market. All right, there are two types of product for different or for two types of market. First of all, we talk about consumer market. Consumer market, who's the members or who be the consumers in the consumer market? Every one of us in the world, there are billions of people that are consumer or end consumer, which is people who buy any kind of product for the use of individual or him or herself, for their family or for their household. For example, you rent a house, you have members in the house, so you bought anything that required for your household. So say about by finance consumer for personal consumption. And the pattern, how to buy, and the way they buy the product might be differ from one to another. Another type of market we call as industrial market. Industrial market can be found when a product bought for further processing. It means here, for those involved, especially business, they bought anything from the market for the purpose of transforming, trading, or for the means of operation for their business. So they bought product for further processing or for use in conducting a business. And the end consumer in this type of market, it means the product bought for the purpose of running the business or to transform or become a trading goods and make it sell back to the target market. All right, we have 3 slides talking about comparison between consumer and business market. Let's look in depth. Okay, I divide it into 3 since this study was conducted by Cisnan 1989, Dow Year and Penna 2002, Ford et al. 2002, Lilian 1978, Simkin 2000, Webster 1991, Wilson 1999 and 2000, and Wilson and Woodside 2001. Okay, they are compiled into one comprehensive list, and I'll share with you in this lecture. Okay, first we talk about structure. Okay, the comparison between business market and consumer market. In terms of nature of demand, business market actually derived from the consumer market. Means here, the demand was shaped by the consumer. Okay. In other terms, anything that business bought from their supplier for the purpose of making a product available in the market actually based on what consumers want in the consumer market. However, consumer market, they are more directly create the demand based on what they want at current time. Demand volatility for business, greater volatile means here anything that change or happen in the consumer market will give greater impact for the business. However, for consumer market, anything change doesn't affect any at all. Okay, so demand in terms of demand elasticity for business market less elastic because they are continuing producing the product compared to the consumer market. If you as a consumer and consumer, for example, aware of some reduction in price in one product in the market, usually you will focus on that particular product and avoid any product that charge at higher price. Reverse elasticity. Okay, in business market, they are more common, but for consumer market, it's less common. Nature of customer. The customer in business market have greater heterogeneity. However, for consumer market, greater homogeneity. Okay. In terms of the market fragmentation, for business market, greater fragmentation, and consumer market, less fragment. In terms of complexity, business market, more complex because you need to know what are the areas they involve. However, for consumer market, are less complex. In simple word, in consumer market, we don't so much care about the quantity offer. But another issue might arise when talking about product preferred by the consumer market. In terms of the size, in terms of the value, they are more larger compared to the consumer market. Number of buyer per seller, few. For consumer market, many. Number of buyer per segment also few, and number of consumer for consumer market per segment, many. Relative size of buyer seller, often similar in business. Consumer market seller much larger. In terms of geographic concentration, often clustered. However, for consumer market, usually dispersed. Okay, often clustered mean by group or by region. However, for consumer market, they are more broadened. Okay, more widened. Okay, this is about market structure. How about behavior? Okay, behavior as a business owner, as an end consumer, there are much more differences. First, in terms of the influences, in business market, there are so many influences. Okay, to make any decision is very complex and tough. However, for consumer market, there are very less number of influencers. Okay. In terms of the cycle, often long. Why often long? Because they are preferred for long-term commitment between the supplier and the buyer. However, in consumer market, usually short because if they found product satisfy their need, they will repeat the purchase and the cycle is done. Okay, time consuming very less. Transaction value often high because they bought for larger volume. However, for consumer market, relatively small. Buying process complexity. In business, we need a committee to buy even a product. But for yourself, to buy a cup or a glass or whatever drink to quench your hunger, you just simply come to the restaurant and buy what do you want to have. But to provide or to produce similar product in the business market, it requires time and it's very complex. Buyer-seller interdependent, often high, and in consumer market, we never care about sellers' relationship. Purchase professionalism, often also high. You need to comprehend better rather than consumer market. Important of relationship, often important, and in consumer market, usually unimportant. Usually, I'm talking normally we don't want to care about relationship. Okay, but if you have a good relationship, you have bond with your seller, you might repeat another purchase. Degree of interactivity often high in business market, but low in consumer market. And for formal written rules, business market require always anything in formal compared to the consumer market, which is doesn't require anything formal to formally to provide. Why? Because in business, we do have auditing, we do have accounting, we do have bookkeeping. All sorts report should be aligned with action that you have taken. Okay, third, we talk about practice. Okay, usually in business market, we sell system. For consumer market, we sell the product. And for consumer market, we limitedly practice personal selling and also use of relationship. For business market, it's a key to make sure your business buyer maintain their focus and retain with our company. Promotional strategy. For business market, very limited and very specific. However, for consumer market, it's open, broaden. Web integration also greater for business market. However, consumer market doesn't have so much on integration. For branding, limited together with the market research. However, in consumer market, it's very extensive, very sophisticated, very extensive for market research. Why? Because anything happen, demand from in consumer market actually give direct impact to the business market demand. That what we talk in the first slide of comparison between the consumer and business market. For segmentation, unsophisticated for business market and very complex and sophisticated in consumer market. Competitor awareness, very lower in business, higher in consumer. Yes, of course, because consumer will decide which product are better to them and which product can offer more value to them. Product complexity, greater in business, lesser in consumer marketing. Alright, this comparison actually give you idea how to serve and how to understand different type of buyer in the market. We don't treat even with them since every single entities that involve either business or consumer actually give different and different revenues. Okay. All right. In the stimulus response model, which is in the middle part, talking about the buyer characteristic and buying decision making process. Okay. I will talk to you these two type of market, how they process, what are the characteristics that influence the way how they buy the product. We start with the consumer buying behavior. Okay. What are the factors affect our decision to buy a product? In many books outline 4 major factors. What are the 4 major factors? Starting with economic factor. I just want to ask you, please assess yourself. What are the first steps taken when you considering to buy a product from a shop? Let's answer yourself. Normally, we will open our wallet or we will check our e-wallet balance. Am I right? We will check our e-wallet balance. Okay, this is a major factor that we consider most before we buy any product. Either you have different culture, you at the state psychologically different from one to another, or personal factor. Economic become the first thing put into consideration to make a decision to buy a product. Personal income. How much money do you have for spending? Okay, family income. Expectation regarding future income. Maybe you expect to have bonus in the end of the year. Okay, you might plan for buying a stock, unit trust or whatever. And also, you will find anything that easily can be liquidified. Okay, easily become cash. Okay, either you don't Either you have your in physical cash, or you have something in your e-wallet to pay anything that you want. Or you might have capability in terms of having to buy at credit. Okay. So economic factor actually affect most of our decision making process. Normally, this is the factors. Okay, we have another 3 factors. What are they? Second, personal factor. Age. You never bought any instant noodle for the baby, right? Yes, you will buy anything that suit to your age. From younger, from newly born, become a kids, and become youth, adult, and later you become someone senior at golden age, prefer different kind of product. And also occupation. What kind of work you involve? Actually, occupation much more related to the income. Life cycle stage. From single to married to married with child, and then the child grown up already, and they left the house and become 2 again, and one of you pass away, you left become back to 1. So different life cycle give different style, different, we call it as way you prefer product from the market. Your lifestyle, the way how you express yourself, your personality, okay, how do you look yourself, also affect your decision making process. Okay. In terms of psychological factor, okay, some people might say we just have to have our lunch at basic. Why? We need to save. Don't waste our money. Don't eat too much. Some people believe in that. So become motivation, level of involvement, perception towards something, your attitude, your belief, come from your learning, and also your lifestyle. And the fourth part, which affect your consumer buying behavior, called cultural and social factor. Okay. Culture. For example, Malaysian usually have their breakfast with roti canai or nasi lemak. Most races accept those meal become Malaysian breakfast meal. Or subculture. Some people might say not enough having noodle all day long. You must have rice, for example, in your meal. Okay. Or this coming festive season, Hari Raya, for example, Idul Fitri, we need to buy new baju Melayu. So to have that, it was influenced by your subculture. Social class. Okay, social class, normally people talk about level of their living standard. Okay, sometimes it was derived from your occupation, your income level, social class. Malaysia less, we call it less practicing social class. But some of the industry or sector might having this kind of we call it expression. For example, elite area for housing, okay, middle income group or low income group housing. Okay, social group, opinion leaders, role and status. Okay, much affect the way how you buy a product. Okay, hope you already have the idea how actually we as a consumer considering any product to be bought. Okay, let's go. How the process done? Okay, before come to the product choice, come to the dealer's choice, when to purchase, there must be a process, the flow, the stage 1 until the end stage. This is how we done our purchase. Okay, anything that you bought from the market actually come from the problem that you face. You must have problem. Oh, sir, I don't have problem. I'm happily ever after. Always happy. No, you have problem. For example, hunger. Hunger is problem, sir. Yes. Problem because your stomach become empty and need to feel something to avoid you become hunger. So that's a problem. Okay, that problem come from three different stage of we call it preferences, either from need, wants, or demand. Okay, you can create problem since you have more money. How it's done? It's easy. Okay, if you have, for example, if you have 100 in your hand, what happened to you? You try to think, what kind of product I want to buy? I have 100 extra for today. Is it right? That's a problem arise. Okay? But you cannot decide immediately what product you want to buy if you don't have idea which product to choose. So if you don't have a set, we call it as an ebook set. Ebook set develop or come when you always doing the same thing. For example, do you have experience in withdrawing your money from CIMB ATM machine? Yes. Okay. Do you aware before you confirming how much money to withdraw? Okay, you have already put your how much, or maybe for example 100, and then you enter, and the system will ask you, do you want to keep this amount as your favorite or quick amount, favorite amount for quick withdrawing? Yes, you say no. If no, okay, that number won't be appear in your list of quick withdrawal, or we call it as a fast money. Okay, you don't have to go through the process few step more. You just put your card in, put your pin in, and then you just touch on which amount you want to withdraw, right? So that kind of situation in our mind also consider as quick response. Okay, if you hunger, and usually you will prefer to have, for example, nasi kandar. rice with a few different type of curries and mix together, eat with the fried chicken, mama style, right? Okay. So if you don't have the idea, you want to try something new, you need to do a research. Okay. Either you use your handphone looking for information in regarding on you product you want to buy. Okay, the best thing, the best food, the best drink, the best phone, the best whatever the best. Because you have no idea in the first place, right? You try to get something, uh, uh, to get some idea what kind of product can be bought using 100 extra that you have this morning. Okay, so do research and you list down the options. Okay, from that option, you will consider based on the factors that I already explained before. Maybe on your economic factor, can be on your personal factor, can be from your psychological factor, or can be your from cultural factor. You evaluate all the options until you have one left option. You eliminate any option that you are not favor enough until you have one option that you think is very suitable and convenient and affordable. You make purchase decision. You buy a product and bring back to home. Use it later on. You will express and show your attitude towards the purchase. We call it as a post-purchase decision evaluation. Either your purchase meet your expectation or not meet or beyond your expectation. And how you express if you face or experience something does not meet your expectation. You feel unsatisfied and you won't come again for that particular product. Or you won't satisfy because it's not satisfy your tummy. You feel hunger, you eat, very small, not enough. You want to buy in some more for filling up your stomach. That's a process which happen in our mind. Okay, so don't. I always say this. Usually we don't have a formal process, but we actually practicing all the time. Every time, every second that you have talking about what kind of product you want to purchase, what kind of product that you can have using this amount of money. Okay, so this is consumer buying decision making process. How about business? Okay, in business also have factors come into form. Okay, first we talk about environmental factor. Okay, you want to buy a product from the market, you need to consider the economic environment. You need to consider the technological environment. We need to consider the political stability, legal, rule and regulations, social responsibility, and also competition available in the market. Or second major factor, organizational factor. Organizational factor talking about your organization objective, your policy, your procedure, your structure, and also your system. Okay, business I already mentioned they are much more complex in make any decision. We have 5 for consumer, but we have 8 in business. Much longer. Why much longer? require everything informal. Compared to the consumer market, if you want to buy maybe a rim or a pack of pepper for your own use, much more simple, much more easier. Okay, I mean more cheaper when you buy individually. But compared to business, you need to go through few processes, then later get same product but very longer time. Okay. Second major factor, organizational factor. Third, interpersonal factor. The authority that one person have, the status, the interest in it. The person, is it they have interest in buying those product. Okay. In a committee, how about your standing towards the proposal? Okay, that you call it as how they defense or the proposal. What are the technical specification required based on their, you call it background. I mean here, position that they hold. Okay, personal factor. Okay, the age, the education, the job position, personality of oneself, and risk attitude toward that potential purchase, or they will call it as a future purchase. Okay, so do we have also for in business buying or business market? Okay, in consumer market, we have four major factors affecting buying behavior. Why is that? Economic, okay, personal, psychological, and culture. However, for business, we have also four. What are they? Environmental, organization, interpersonal, and personal factor. Okay, but how about the process? Okay, I'm saying it's very complex, more longer compared to the consumer market. Okay, this is the process. Okay, starting with the same situation, problem recognition. Okay, if we want to buy something for our business, there must be a problem. Maybe in terms of raw material, we have less raw material available in our warehouse to produce any product. We do have lack in terms of technological, lack of machinery, lack of related to maybe the system. Okay, what kind of system? Which machinery that we want? Okay, which machine we need to buy? Move to second step, general need description. What kind of machine actually this department want to have? Okay, and this department we outline all the specification. Okay, the production number, the output, the consumption, electricity consumption, anything very specific. Okay, and this happen in a group of people. Okay, a group of people. Okay, for consumer, only oneself, only our own mind, and sometimes might be interfered by someone else, but not absolute have impact compared to the business. Business, the decision made from the group people involved. Technical person, CEO, people who involved in procurement, your maybe your general manager, your maybe supervisor. There's so many people and very complex to make sure all the demand, all the requirement outlined by this person to become one. We call it consensus. Okay. So if you do have already the specification, you outline all the, we call it as a description of the product that you want to buy, and later ask for supplier search. Okay, we advertise. For those who have capability to supply this product, please submit your document. We call it a tender. Okay, please submit your proposal. Okay, so business will come in and propose, send their document, and later come to the process of solicitation. Okay, we saw the proposal based on our specification that described before, and which proposal that suit nearly to what we want. Okay, and we shortlist the supplier. Later, what happened? We will come to meeting again and select the best supplier. Best supplier is not talking about the cheaper price or cheaper cost, but usually look for overall parts involved throughout the contractual term. Okay, if you consciously, together make a decision saying this one supplier become our supplier, then we later make an order. We call it as an order routine specification. For every month, you must supply how much, how many stock, and when the payment will be made. All the terms will be put into document, and supplier together also with the company involved pay their obligation. Okay, after few period of time, there must be review. Okay, for example, you have contracted for 2 years. After 2 years or nearly come to 2 years, okay, you will do a review. For what? To make sure either this supplier still capable to, we call it as to supply the same product at the same price or at very affordable increment. Yes, market not usually same all the time. There must be changes, either go down or going up. So if going down, what happened, and going up, what happened, and how the supplier could use those changes from the term of supplier and from the term of an organization. So performance review will look over everything. If comply, if capable to continue, then the agreement will be renewed for another term. This is a process happen in business market. Okay, we are not involved in this as an end consumer, but business have. Okay, so please don't make a mistake by putting order process into consumer process, same as a business. Consumer is totally different. Okay, so hopefully I can share with you a bit about our topic regarding on business and consumer market. Thank you very much for your attention. We will see you in segmentation, targeting, and positioning chapter. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye bye.